So now I'm going to take the barrel to the milling machine where I have that indexing head set up, and this is going to make it possible for me to accurately turn the barrel 180 degrees, because I want those two little bores to be opposing one another as best we can. So I'm just going to work to get those two holes in the center, right to left, and front to back of this section of the barrel. So I have an edge finder in the machine, so I'm going to use that to help me locate, and then I'll use my micrometer dials on the Y and the X axis to get that accurately located. So I'm going to turn the machine on and set it at about 1200 RPM, so I'm in high range. So I bring that edge of the barrel to where it knocks the edge finder up center. So I get that to where it's running through. And that tells me that the edge of the edge finder is on the edge of the barrel. However, we're not at the center, right? We're on the edge of the diameter. So we got to account for that. The diameter of this edge finder is 0.2, so half of that is 0.1. So I want to compensate over 100 thousandths. So I'm going to just set that on 0, and I'll move my table 100 thousandths. Now that puts the center of the edge finder right on the edge of the barrel. So when I'm at that point, I set that on 0 again, and I need to go in half the diameter. Well, the diameter right there is 1.1, so half of that should be 0.550, 550 thousandths. So I'm going to use my dial. One revolution is 200 thousandths. Another revolution would be 400. Then I'm going to go 100. That's at 500. Then I'm going to go 50 more. And that is 550 thousandths. And hopefully in the center of the barrel. I'm going to lock that axis down right there. Okay, so we've got our front to back, or our Y direction figured. So now I need to get in the center of that little projection from right to left with the x-axis. So I'm going to carefully bring that down. As what would destroy your edge finder is if you turn it on and it's bottomed out. So just make sure it's slightly up above the metal. So I get on the edge of that, and again, 0 out the dial. And I need to compensate the 0.1 for the radius of the edge finder. And I 0 out my dial again. And this should be, if you follow the plan carefully, 0.8 from here to there. So we want to go half of that, which is 400 thousandths, for 2 revolutions of the hand wheel. Okay, and that should put us in the center, right to left, and also we're in the center front to back. So now I'll take the edge finder out. We're going to take the 1/4 inch end mill. Just kind of crank that down so it's good and tight. We're going to bring it down close but not touch it. A good little trick for setting the height of the cutting tool to the metal is to have a piece of paper in between them. And we're going to carefully raise the table up while the machine is turned on. Once it grabs your piece of paper, you know you're just slightly up above the piece of metal. So once I get to that point, I want to zero out the dial for raising and lowering the table. Okay, so I get that zeroed out. I'm going to make sure this is locked down so that it can't raise back up. And we're going to use some oil to help it cut. And we want to raise the table up into that cutter 100 thousandths. So that's one revolution of the hand crank. So when we turn this on, and by the way, it's very important that our cutter is rotating clockwise. So make sure you're turning your machine on in the right direction. Just want to slowly raise that up into the cutter. I'm going to back it down. One revolution and a little bit more. Okay, so take a look, make sure that's all good. Now we're ready to index it. So I'm going to look at where it's set. Right now it's on 270. I need to go 180 degrees around to get to the other side. So you can do the math and figure out how many degrees it should be on when you go 180. In this case, it's set on 90 degrees and it locked in, so that's good. And I'm just going to take a visual check to make sure that other hole is on the exact underneath side, and we're ready to do that one. A little more oil. Turn it on forward. Should be done with that step, so we can pull it out. We have our